Hello. Today General Hospital will reveal for over 6 decades, General Hospital has become known not only for its drama-filled storylines but also for its remarkable and often jaw-dropping character resurrections. In the world of Port Charles, it seems that no one truly stays dead forever. Fans of the show have witnessed numerous beloved characters return from the grave, creating some of the most shocking and emotional moments in soap opera history. Deaths in General Hospital are rarely permanent, and that is part of the magic that keeps viewers coming back for more. Whether it's through elaborate plot twists, scientific miracles, or sheer storytelling brilliance, the show has found ways to bring back characters in ways that continue to surprise and excite audiences. The return of Britt Westbourne, played by Kelly Thibault, is just the latest in a long line of resurrections that have captivated fans. After being presumed dead in the arms of her mother, Lisa Lobrecht, Kathleen Gotti, Britt's unexpected return has reignited the age-old question among fans: if the show can bring Britt back, who else might they be able to resurrect? The notion of death being a mere stepping stone rather than a final conclusion has become ingrained in General Hospital's narrative. As we look back on the numerous times characters have defied death, it's easy to see why fans wonder which other familiar faces could be making a return in the near future. So, what does the future hold for General Hospital in terms of character revivals? Could we see the return of some of the most iconic figures that we've loved and lost over the years? In the world of soap operas, where anything can happen, the possibilities are endless. As fans continue to cling to the hope of seeing their favorite characters back on screen, here are 4 potential candidates who could be next in line for a miraculous comeback. With the history of General Hospital in mind, these characters' returns could send shockwaves through the storyline and bring about new alliances, fresh drama, and deeply emotional moments. Let's dive into the potential for these thrilling comebacks, as we explore which characters might defy the odds and return to Port Charles once again. First, for over 6 decades, General Hospital has expertly navigated the world of soap opera storytelling, with one of its most signature features being the unexpected and dramatic returns of characters who were once presumed dead. Death in Port Charles has always been more of a temporary hiatus than a permanent departure, and this recurring theme of resurrections has left fans with an insatiable curiosity about which beloved characters might come back to stir the pot. Britt Westbourne's, Kelly Thibault, recent return from the dead, after being thought to have died in the arms of her mother, Lisa Lobrecht, Kathleen Gotti, is the perfect example of how General Hospital keeps its audience on the edge of their seats, questioning whether the finality of death truly exists within the fictional world of Port Charles. With Britt's miraculous return, many fans have begun to wonder who else could be resurrected. Among those names, one stands out as a potential game-changer: Julian Jerome. Julian Jerome, a powerful gangster played by William DeVry, was once a formidable presence in the Port Charles underworld. His complex relationships with the other major players, especially Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, were integral to many storylines over the years. Julian was a man of secrets, constantly teetering between loyalty to his family and his criminal enterprises, and he eventually became embroiled in numerous dangerous and life-threatening situations. His most notable and final appearance was during a dramatic showdown on a New Jersey overpass with none other than Sonny Corinthos. The confrontation escalated quickly, with Sonny firing a fatal shot into Julian, sending him plummeting to his presumed death as the bridge collapsed beneath him. For many, this was a fitting conclusion to Julian's turbulent story, a tragic end to a character whose actions had caused as much turmoil as resolution. But in true General Hospital fashion, the assumption that Julian is truly dead may not be as reliable as we think. Sonny, who has been wrapped up in an increasingly intense battle against the formidable Sidwell, Carlo Rota, now faces mounting pressure on all sides. His focus is firmly on the new threat posed by Sidwell, but could the return of Julian become an unexpected wrench in Sonny's carefully crafted plans? While Sonny's plate is undoubtedly full, the possibility of Julian's resurrection, whether it be through an elaborate plot twist or a carefully constructed narrative by the writers, adds an intriguing layer to the current storyline. If Julian were to return, this time potentially working alongside Sidwell to take down Sunny, it could set the stage for an even more dangerous and intense conflict between the two. The potential alliance between these two formidable enemies would undoubtedly change the power dynamics in Port Charles, and General Hospital fans would be left on the edge of their seats, wondering how Sunny would navigate this new, terrifying partnership. The stakes would be raised even higher if Julian's return wasn't a one-man show. What if Sunny, desperate to regain control and protect his family from these growing threats, sought the help of Selina Wu, Lydia Look, another notorious gangster with a vast network of power in the criminal world? Selina has her own motives and a strong connection to Sunny's rivalries, and the prospect of a partnership between them could lead to one of the most riveting power struggles the show has seen in years. The combination of Julian and Sidwell's alliance versus Sunny and Selina's team would create a high-stakes battle, full of betrayal, manipulation, and shifting allegiances. It's a classic General Hospital scenario, where the lines between right and wrong are constantly blurred, and the characters find themselves forced into uncomfortable alliances in order to survive. However, the true emotional weight of Julian's potential return lies in its impact on his family, especially his sister Ava Jerome, Maura West. Ava, a character whose own tumultuous journey has been defined by loss, betrayal, and personal growth, would undoubtedly experience a whirlwind of emotions if she were to discover that Julian is alive. The devastation she would feel knowing that her brother, whom she had mourned for so long, had somehow escaped death would be immeasurable. Ava has been through so much, losing her mother, dealing with her own insecurities, and facing endless betrayals from those she trusted, but nothing could prepare her for this. The shock of seeing Julian alive again would be a gut-wrenching moment, one that could send her spiraling emotionally. For Maura West, the actress behind Ava, this would present an opportunity for one of her most dynamic performances yet. The emotional depth she would bring to these scenes would no doubt resonate with fans, and the potential for Emmy-worthy moments would be through the roof. Second, General Hospital has always thrived on its ability to surprise viewers with dramatic twists, particularly when it comes to the resurrection of characters who were thought to have perished. Fans have been divided for years over whether Morgan Corinthos, Brian Craig, the troubled son of Carly, Laura Wright, and Sunny, Maurice Benard, should return from the dead. Morgan's death in 2016, the result of a car bomb intended for his uncle Julian, was a gut-wrenching moment for fans. The explosion was supposed to end the young man's life, but his body was never found, leaving a lingering mystery that has haunted Port Charles ever since. Morgan's return, whether it be through Brian Craig reprising the role or someone else taking on the character, would undoubtedly create a seismic shift in the lives of his family, particularly his mother, Carly. Carly's emotional journey through grief following Morgan's death has been one of the most heart-wrenching arcs in General Hospital's history. If Morgan were to reappear alive, the emotional payoff for Carly's character would be nothing short of extraordinary. Laura Wright would undoubtedly deliver a tour de force performance, portraying a mother's sheer joy and relief at having her son back. The emotional depth she could bring to these scenes would leave viewers in tears, making it a moment that would linger in the minds of fans for years. Carly's reaction would be a beautiful moment of catharsis, bringing to fruition years of unresolved grief. The complex relationship between Carly and Morgan, filled with both love and tension, would be explored in such a rich way, giving Wright the opportunity to delve into the full spectrum of a mother's emotions. The return of Morgan, however, wouldn't only be a moment of joy for Carly. It would also bring significant emotional complexity for Sunny, who, despite his overwhelming love for his son, has always had a complicated relationship with him. The two men have not always seen eye to eye, with Sunny's often toxic behavior creating a rift between them. Morgan's return would force Sunny to reflect on their tumultuous relationship and the mistakes he's made as a father. Maurice Benard, known for his incredible emotional range, would be given some truly poignant material to work with, as Sunny grapples with the realization that he may have failed Morgan in life, and now, after Morgan's return, he must try to mend that bond. Sunny's internal struggles could also extend to his relationship with his own father, Max Gale, who passed away after a long battle with Alzheimer's. The healing that Sonny experienced with Mike in his final days before his death would be mirrored in the healing he might attempt with Morgan. These moments of introspection would allow for deep emotional storytelling, with Sonny wanting to correct the mistakes he made in the past. The reconciliation between father and son, with both Sonny and Morgan, could add layers of drama and tension to the storyline. Would Morgan be ready to forgive Sonny for the ways in which he may have failed him? Or would Morgan harbor resentment, further complicating their already strained relationship? Another compelling question that would arise with Morgan's return is whether he would eventually step into Sonny's shoes as the head of the Corinthos crime organization. Morgan, with his tumultuous past and desire for approval from his father, has always struggled with his place in the family business. His return could bring about a power struggle, not only between him and Sonny, but also with other key players in the organization. Would Morgan, with his younger, more reckless energy, challenge Sonny's leadership? Would he become a fresh, yet dangerous force within the family, or would he work to repair the broken dynamics that have plagued them for so long? While the potential return of Morgan would bring major consequences for the Corinthos family, another long-awaited return that has fans buzzing is that of Luke Spencer, Anthony Geary. Luke, a legendary character in General Hospital history, was thought to have died in a tragic cable car accident in Austria in 2022. However, like so many characters in Port Charles, Luke's body was never found, leaving fans with the lingering question, is he truly gone, or could he be brought back? Geary, who has retired from acting, may not be willing to return for a long-term commitment, but the possibility of him reprising his role for a brief stint could make waves. Luke's return could serve as a critical plot point in Sonny's ongoing war with Sidwell, Carlo Rota, as Luke might return to help his old friend and help bring down the formidable adversary who has wreaked havoc on Port Charles. Third, for many years, General Hospital has kept fans on the edge of their seats with its dramatic plot twists and shocking resurrections of characters. Some returns are highly anticipated, while others come as a complete surprise. But in the world of Port Charles, no one is ever truly gone for long. The possibility of beloved characters returning, particularly those who have died under intense circumstances, is always in the back of viewers' minds. One such character who has sparked long-running speculation is Luke Spencer, a legendary figure in the history of General Hospital. Luke, portrayed by Anthony Geary, was thought to have died in a tragic cable car accident in Austria in 2022. His body was never found, and like so many other characters in the world of soap operas, fans have clung to the hope that Luke might someday return. Luke Spencer, one of the most iconic and influential characters in General Hospital history, was known for his wild escapades, powerful relationships, and undeniable chemistry with key characters like his wife Tracy, Jane Elliott, and his son Lucky, Jonathan Jackson. His death was a major turning point for fans, many of whom have questioned whether it was truly his final act. Geary's retirement from acting adds an extra layer of complexity to the situation. While it's unlikely that Geary would return for a full-time commitment, there's always the possibility that he might agree to reprise his role for a brief stint, just long enough to help his longtime friend Sonny Corinthos, Maurice Bernard, deal with the growing threat of Sidwell, Carlo Rota. This would not only provide fans with a highly emotional reunion, but also allow Luke's love for his son, Lucky, to drive him to take down a dangerous adversary. If Luke were to return, the reunion with Tracy would be an emotional powerhouse. Tracy has been through so much in recent years, dealing with the loss of her husband and the many challenges she's faced in Port Charles. The shock of seeing Luke alive, after all this time, would be overwhelming. The chemistry between Jane Elliott and Anthony Geary is undeniable, and their scenes together have always been a highlight of the show. Their reunion would undoubtedly be one of the most intense and unforgettable moments in General Hospital history, providing a sense of closure for fans who have longed to see these two characters together again. Luke's return would force Tracy to confront not only her deep emotions for him but also the complex nature of their relationship, which has been marked by love, betrayal, and a shared history of overcoming obstacles. But Luke's return would not just be about Tracy. His son, Lucky, would undoubtedly be a central part of this storyline. Lucky has had his own complicated history with his father, marked by both love and resentment. Having been abandoned by Luke at various points in his life, Lucky's relationship with his father has been fraught with tension. Luke's return could force Lucky to reevaluate his feelings about the man who shaped so much of his life. Would he be able to forgive his father for the past and find a way to rebuild their fractured bond? Or would Luke's return only stir up old wounds that would be difficult to heal? As much as Luke's return would be a huge emotional moment for the Spencer family, it would also have a significant impact on the rest of Port Charles. Sonny, currently embroiled in a brutal war with Sidwell, would need all the help he can get. Luke's return would not only be a boost to Sonny's fight but could also provide a sense of continuity in the ongoing battle for control of the city's criminal underworld. Luke, with his wealth of experience and knowledge, would be an invaluable asset to Sonny, and together, they could forge an alliance that would turn the tide in their favor. The return of such a powerful and charismatic character would add a new layer of tension to the already volatile situation, making it even more thrilling for viewers. But perhaps the most emotional return of all would be that of Sam McCall, Kelly Monaco. Another beloved General Hospital character who met a tragic end in 2024 at the hands of Cyrus Renaud, Jeff Kober. Sam's death was a devastating blow for her family, particularly her mother Alexis, Nancy Lee Grahn, who has had her own struggles with betrayal and heartbreak. Sam had been a central figure in many key storylines, and her absence left a noticeable void in the lives of those who loved her, including her children Danny, Asher Antonazin, and Scout, Cosette Abinante. Her fiancé Dante, Dominic Zamprogna, and her sister Christina, Kate Monsey. Sam's death on screen, while shocking, left many wondering whether there could be a way for her to return. The General Hospital writers are known for their creative methods of resurrecting characters, and there's always the possibility that Sam could have been kidnapped by someone within the Cassadine family, or that she was hidden away for a reason. If Sam were to return, her reunion with her loved ones would be nothing short of emotional. Alexis, who has been grappling with so much grief and turmoil in her life, would find herself overwhelmed with joy and relief at having her daughter back. The emotional impact of this reunion would be heart-wrenching, with Alexis finally able to find peace in the knowledge that Sam was alive. Finally, for years, fans of General Hospital have been divided over the question of whether Morgan Corinthos, played by Brian Craig, should return from the dead. Morgan, the troubled son of Carly, Laura Wright, and Sonny, Maurice Bernard, met a tragic and brutal end in 2016 when he was killed by a car bomb that was intended for his uncle, Julian. The bomb exploded, killing Morgan, but his body was never found, leaving room for speculation that he might still be alive. His presumed death left a lasting impact on his family, particularly his mother, Carly, who has struggled with his loss ever since. While some fans believe Morgan's return would be a fitting way to bring back one of the show's most beloved characters, others feel that his death should remain permanent. Yet, as is often the case with soap operas, where death is never quite final, the possibility of Morgan's resurrection remains ever present. If the writers were to bring Morgan back, whether with Brian Craig reprising his role or through the introduction of a new actor, Carly's reaction would undoubtedly be one of the most emotional moments in General Hospital's history. Carly has endured immense heartache over the years, from the death of her son to the many ups and downs in her life, and the return of Morgan would bring a sense of closure and relief to her character that viewers have longed for. Laura Wright's portrayal of Carly has always been exceptional, and if Morgan were to come back, Wright would undoubtedly give an unforgettable performance, capturing a mother's raw and unfiltered emotions at the moment she sees her son alive after years of grief. Her joy would be palpable, her tears would flow freely, and fans would undoubtedly feel the weight of every single one of those moments. However, Morgan's return wouldn't be all sunshine and happiness. While Carly would be overjoyed to have her son back, the relationship between Morgan and Sonny has always been complicated, to say the least. Morgan and Sonny have had a tumultuous father-son relationship over the years, marked by misunderstandings, conflicts, and deep emotional struggles. Sonny, who has always tried to protect Morgan, also struggled with his own flaws as a father, sometimes pushing Morgan away rather than embracing him. Morgan's return would open the door for Sonny to reflect on the mistakes he made in the past and his strained relationship with his son. This would allow for some of the most emotionally charged scenes between Maurice Bernard, Sonny, and Brian Craig, Morgan, as Sonny would likely feel a deep sense of regret for the way things played out.